CBT News celebrates 12 years of delivering news, content, coaching, and analysis to the retail automotive community. The strongest team in automotive media, CBT News.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining me here at CBT Now on the CBT Automotive Network. Do you think you know what the most popular used car was for 2024? I'm wondering myself, actually. On today's show, we're learning what vehicle holds the #1 spot and also taking a look at the used electric vehicle market. Here now is Karl Brauer, executive analyst for iSeeCars.com. Thank you so much, Karl, for joining us on the show.
Hey, great to be on with you, Jim. Always fun talking cars.
Yeah, so you guys analyzed over 7.7 million used car sales over the last 5 model years. What was the most popular best-selling used car in 2024?
Yeah, not too surprising probably for most people, but that Ford F-150, you just can't keep that thing off the best-selling list no matter what you do or what kind of creative parameters you come up with. It just seems to keep rising to the top. But yeah, that was the best-selling. And of course, it was followed by the Chevrolet Silverado and the Ram 1500. So those big three trucks also tend to be popular in today's market and have been popular for decades in this market, as you know.
Everybody wants a truck. It's
Everybody
amazing.
Wants
I've
a truck.
got so many of my friends and neighbors that I've got that have trucks and have spent upwards of $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 for them. And the bed of those trucks is pristine. There's never been anything in the bed of the truck.
Right.
So it begs the question, why do you need a pickup truck, right?
Right.
But they got to have them. It's just incredible. But
well, it's like all those SUVs that go off-road constantly, right?
That's right. Exactly. Do you see any vehicle segments losing traction in the used market?
Gosh, that's a good question. Well, I mean, of course, electric vehicles, we did a study of the best-selling used electric vehicles too, and we've got that list here. And it was fascinating to watch the Tesla Model 3 and the Model Y both make it into the top 100. And the Tesla Model 3 was number 30. So there's some argument that the EVs are making gains, but then there's the whole idea that they lose a lot of their value on the used side. Teslas tend to be the topping the list of cars on the used market that lose the most value year over year.
Right.
And electric vehicles in general are doing that. So if you were to ask me, where do I see slippage? I would say I see slippage in used values of EVs big time.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, Tesla is still the #1 EV seller out there, right?
Sure. Yeah, they're still the dominant brand, at least in this country. And we know BYD is doing really well globally, but they dominate. And that's what we're seeing. The Model Y went from number 129, I believe, to 74. It was the 74th most popular used car in the past year. And the Model 3, I think it was 46 or 44 to 30 or 47 to 30.
Okay.
So over 50% gain for it. So, Jim, a couple more years, these cars could be in the top 20 best-selling used cars. So but we know, the Model Y, I think, is one of the top-selling global cars. So they're just everywhere. And I live in South Orange County, so I can attest to that. They're all over the place, and they're just starting to flood from the new market where they entered not that long ago into the used market.
That's going to be interesting to follow. So what does this say about EV adoption in the used car market?
It says that people will buy them, but only if they're extremely low priced. That's what we see. We look at the price of used EVs, and they're below the price of used internal combustion cars. That happened about a year ago, actually. And it's just clear that used buyers who are much more value oriented and often are only single car families or single car households, they cannot justify an EV unless it's an extremely competitive price, like lower than an internal combustion vehicle, and then they'll buy one.
Right, then they'll buy one. I still say that 20 years from now, everybody will be driving an EV. Do you think we'll see that maybe 80 or 90% of the market, or am I crazy thinking that?
20 is that's a long ways out. So I think in 20, but I would say probably, Jim, honestly, if you ask me, I would say 20 years, we might be at 50%.
50%, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they could be the majority barely in 20 years, but I don't think they're going to grow as rapidly as a lot of people were predicting, a year or two ago. And you can see it. I mean, I was talking to another industry analyst, and he was commenting how you went from 7.4% new car market share to 7.8% from 23 to 24. So at 0.4% share gains, you ain't going to get to 30, 40, 50%.
I guess I'm just
like
dreaming.
A lot of people were predicting.
That's right. That's right. And especially with the new administration that's backing off all of the mandates and tax benefits and what have you. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's closer to 50. So, so were there any surprises in the rankings of the most popular used vehicles, whether it be EV or ICE?
Really just that those Teslas are moving up. I mean, you look at these popular cars right after the full-size trucks, right? You've got Equinox, which, by the way, last year had displaced the Ram. It was third and the Ram was fourth, but the Ram regained its full-size truck status as hanging with the other two at the first three spots. But the Equinox was 4, Camry 5, Tacoma 6, I believe it was Explorer 7, and then Civic and RAV4 are there in the top 10. So these are all just hugely popular cars. We know people love these things, and if you go past that number, you get to CRVs, and you get to other small SUVs. What do I see here? Civics, Corollas. These are all just the cars that they drive well for years. They're very dependable. You get a lot of car for the money. They're well-known brands. And of course, the car companies that make these things, they just keep cranking them out as new cars, so they keep flooding the used car market too.
Sure. You know, it'd be a good idea is if we open up a used car lot and just stocked it with the top, 5 best-selling used vehicles, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't go outside of that setup.
You would assume that the dealers are probably highly tuned into this. When they're at auction, they're like, I can always sell one of those. Oh, I can always sell one of those. I can, they've got to have these things big time on their radar when they're seeing them go by.
Yeah, no question about it. Karl Brauer, executive analyst at iSeeCars.com. Check him out, folks, at iSeeCars.com. I think you're going to like what you see. But Karl, thank you so much for stopping by CBT News. Really appreciate it.
Always fun being on with you, Jim. You take care.
Thanks.